So I'm in Austria riding an Austrian motorcycle, a part of which is also Indian. Today I'm here near Salzburg riding the Duke 390, and today we're going to find out just how good this motorcycle is and should you be starting to collect money for it. Let's get the elephant in the room out in the open. The 390 Duke looks exactly like the 200 Duke. It might have a half a litre more fuel tank capacity and a 10 mm lower seat, but this is the same motorcycle visually. However, the new paint scheme, the orange wheels, they do make some impact. I'm still wondering though about the orange wheels, if they're too much or just right for this motorcycle. But this isn't the last time the similarity between the 200 Duke and the 390 Duke will come up either. It's easy to say that the 390's engine is the same as the 200's but bored and stroked out to the new displacement. But you'd be wrong. First of all, the gearbox is all new, all the ratios are different, and what I really like is the new tall 6th. It's really tall, and if you do 120 on the highway, that's only 6,500 RPM, and I think that means on a long distance this bike can handle itself. But on the engine itself, when they started out, the idea was to base it on the 200, but by the time they finished with it, with the 44 PS that this motorcycle makes, most of the engine is all new, especially the cylinder, which is our Nickel cast cylinder. It's got forged pistons. This is a proper high-performance machine. The all-newest part of the 390 is its gearbox. It features completely different ratios and includes an extremely highway-friendly tall 6th gear. More importantly, the other ratios feel well chosen to deal with the engine's power delivery. So you invariably find yourself in the power band and without the constant redlining and frenetic riding that the 200 Duke seems to demand. On the other hand, it's all the same bit is the chassis. The Duke 390 shares a lot of its chassis with the 200, but as soon as you get on the motorcycle, you get an immediate sense that this is a stiffer motorcycle. Part of that is the fact that this is the European model, and that means the suspension is actually stiffer. It's also running Metzeler tires, which we are told will come to India when the bike goes on sale, and the overall feel of the motorcycle is of a much more rigid, much stiffer, much sportier motorcycle. It's not going to come to India this form. It is going to be gentler, and therefore ride quality should be very, very sporty, but it should not be impossible to live with. There's nothing wrong with the MRF tires that currently run on the KTM 200 Duke, but the KTM 390 is capable of higher speeds of 160 to 170 km an hour, and that has led to the new Metzeler Sportec M5 tires. And these will also be on the Indian bikes. This is a stiff tire that takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you're in sync, it offers immense grip both when upright and when you choose to lean over right to the edge. KTM says the biggest advantage it has over the MRF is in wet or mixed conditions. So I've done almost 200 kilometers on the motorcycle now, and what I can tell you is that it's an incredible experience. It doesn't really feel as fast as you think it is until you look down and then you realize you're going really, really fast. On the highways today, we've done about 150, 153 kilometers an hour without thinking, and I think those are the kind of speeds that say on the street in India, this is going to be a nicely powerful performance machine. Something that you might only be doing 60 through town, but there'll be this sense of raw power that you will really enjoy. That having been said, it is a refined machine. When you first go to this bike and start it up in the showroom, you will notice that the handlebar has a gentle vibration as it idles. It evens out by 3000 RPM, by 4000 RPM the engine's singing, and it pulls really nicely all the way to the red line. The difference between the 200 and the 390 primarily is that now the gearbox ratios are set so that the gears last longer. So instead of going very, very quickly through a closed ratio gearbox, this is a little gentler on you, and I think that will make rideability much easier for us. Now to the brakes. To preempt the new European ABS norms for motorcycles, KTM have endowed the 390 with standard anti-lock brakes, and this is part of the equipment that the Indian KTM 390 will get. We never really got a chance to try it in Austria because the weather and the conditions were near perfect. On the other hand, KTM have kept in mind the stunter or the occasional off-road adventurer and hidden a toggle switch for the ABS so you can turn it off if you need to. And the brakes themselves overall, oh, they're powerful, responsive and effective, just like on the 200 Duke. It's been an awesome riding day in Austria, and I can tell you this is going to be a spectacular machine when it turns up. The question is, when does it turn up? Bajaj have not confirmed the dates, but our estimate is that a month and a half is where the commercial announcement is going to be, and I think deliveries will start maybe about 2 weeks or 3 weeks after that. But overall, I'll tell you this, even if you have a Duke 200 already in your garage, you need to go to a showroom and check this thing out for yourself.